Can a painting of a person tell you more about him than his own face? Perhaps the painting will show more than just the outside of that person. Perhaps it will show the inside. We often say that a face is like an open book. The face tells its own story. When Dorian Gray sees the painting of his own face, he falls in love with his own beauty. Nothing must change. Nothing must touch his beauty. Nothing must hurt. Not love, not even time. And so he cuts the link between his face and his art, between his outside and his inside. His face does not change. It stays young and beautiful. But the picture, painted with love, tells the true story. It shows the real Dorian Gray, who is growing old and ugly and full of hate. When we're happy, we're always good. But when we're good, we're not always happy. Lord Henry's lazy, clever words led the young Dorian Gray into a world where it is better to be beautiful than to be good. A world where anything can be forgiven, even murder, if it can make people laugh at a dinner party. Chapter 1: The Artist. I've put too much of myself into this painting. Through the open windows of the room came the rich scent of summer flowers. Lord Henry Wotton lay back in his chair and smoked his cigarette. Beyond the soft sounds of the garden, you could just hear the noise of London. In the center of the room, there was a portrait of a very beautiful young man, and in front of it stood the artist himself, Basil Howard. "It's your best work, Basil, that you've ever painted," said Lord Henry lazily. "You must send it to the best art gallery in London." "No," Basil said slowly. "No, I won't send it anywhere." Lord Henry was surprised. "But my dear Basil, why not? What strange people you artists are. You want to be famous, but then you're not happy when you are famous. It's bad when people talk about you, but it's even much worse when they don't talk about you. I know you laugh at me, but I can't exhibit the picture in an art gallery. I've put too much of myself into it." Lord Henry laughed. "Too much of yourself into it? You don't look like him at all. He has a fair and beautiful face, and you look intelligent, of course. But with your strong face and black hair, you're not beautiful." "You don't understand me, Harry," replied Basil. Lord Henry's friends always called him Harry. "Of course I'm not like him. In fact, I prefer not to be beautiful. Dorian Gray's beautiful face will perhaps bring him danger and trouble." "Dorian Gray? Is that his name?" "Yes, but I didn't want to tell you." "Why not?" "Oh, I can't explain. When I like people a lot, I never tell their names to my other friends. I love secrets, that's all." "Of course," agreed his friend. "Life is much more exciting when you have secrets. For example, I never know where my wife is, and my wife never knows what I'm doing. When we meet, and we do meet sometimes, we tell each other crazy stories, and we pretend that they're true." "You pretend all the time, Harry. I think that you're probably a very good husband, but you like to hide your true feelings. Oh, don't be so serious, Basil. Let's go into the garden. Chapter 2. In the garden. In the garden, the leaves shone in the sunlight, and the flowers moved gently in the summer wind. The two young men sat on a long seat under the shadow. Before I go, you must answer my question, Basil. Why won't you exhibit Dorian Gray's portrait in an art gallery? He looked at his friend and smiled. Please give me the real reason now, not the answer that you gave me before. Harry, when an artist feels strongly about a portrait, it becomes a portrait of himself, not the sitter. The artist paints the face and body of the sitter, but in fact, he shows his own feelings. The reason why I won't exhibit this portrait is because I'm afraid it shows the secret of my heart. Lord Henry laughed. And what is the secret of your heart? His friend was silent. Lord Henry picked a flower and looked at it with interest. 2 months ago, I was at a party at Lady Brandon's house. I was talking to friends when I realized that someone was watching me. I turned and I saw Doryan Gray for the first time. We looked at each other and I felt a sudden, very strong fear. I felt that this person could change my life, could bring me happiness and unhappiness. Later, Lady Brandon introduced us. We laughed at something that she said and became friends at once. He stopped. Lord Henry smiled. Tell me more, he said. How often do you see him? Every day. I'm not happy if I don't see him every day. He's necessary to my life. But I thought you only cared about your art. He is all my art now, replied Basil seriously. Since I met Dorian Gray, the work that I've done is good. The best work of my life. Because of him, I see art in a different way, a new way. When I'm with him, I paint wonderful pictures. Basil is extraordinary. I must meet Dorian Gray.